6 subtle signs your body's aging faster than it should. Catch them early. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Picture this. You're cruising through your morning, maybe pouring that first steaming cup of coffee or chasing your pup around the backyard, feeling like you've got this whole aging thing in the bag. You're still kicking it, maybe hitting the gym, taking walks, keeping up with the grandkids. And you're thinking, I'm good, right? I've still got that fire. But then, out of nowhere, something tiny throws you off. Maybe you're panting after a quick jog to the car, or you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and think, whoa, when did I start looking so beat? What if I told you your body might be slipping you some sneaky little notes, whispering that it's aging faster than it's supposed to, and you're not even catching the hints? Today, we're diving deep into something you might not see coming. 6 subtle signs your body's clock is ticking quicker than it should. These aren't the loud, blaring sirens, like a trick knee that won't bend or forgetting your own address. Nope, these are the quiet, sneaky signals that creep in so slow you might brush them off unless you know exactly what to look for. And here's the best part. Spotting them early could be your secret weapon to slamming the brakes on that aging train, keeping you strong, sharp, and full of life way longer than you ever imagined. I'm not here to spook you into wrapping yourself in bubble wrap or trading your sneakers for slippers. This is about taking control, flipping the script, and turning those whispers into a roadmap to thrive. So grab your go-to drink, kick back for a bit, and let's unpack these undercover clues together. If you're already leaning in, hooked on where this is headed, drop a quick one in the comments. I'd love to know you're here riding this wave with me. Let's start with something so sly you might not even peg it as a red flag. You're out of breath way too fast. Imagine you're hauling a couple grocery bags from the trunk to the kitchen. Just a short trek, nothing epic. Or maybe you're hustling up one flight of stairs to snag the mail off the porch. A few years ago, you'd glide through it, no big deal. Maybe even chatting on the phone while you're at it. Now, you're huffing and puffing like you just ran a 10K, chest heaving, hands braced on your hips, wondering where your wind went. That's not just, oh, I'm a little out of shape. It's a subtle sign your body might be aging faster than it should. Here's the scoop. As we stack up the years, our lung capacity naturally takes a little dip, and our heart doesn't pump with quite the same gusto. Totally standard stuff. But if you're gasping after light tasks way sooner than your pals, or faster than you were even a year back, it's your body tapping you on the shoulder, saying, hey, something's up. It might mean your cardiovascular system's hitting a speed bump, or your oxygen's not flowing as smooth as it used to. Think about Ellen, 68, a woman who used to own her garden like a boss. Watering cans, pruning shears, bags of mulch. She'd handle it all without breaking a sweat. Then she started noticing she'd need a breather just from lugging a watering can across the yard. Her chest would tighten, and she'd plop down on the bench, winded. At first, she laughed it off. Guess I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But when it kept happening, she brought it up at her checkup. Her doc didn't sugarcoat it. This wasn't just normal aging. Her heart and lungs were signaling early wear. Nothing dire, just a nudge to pay attention. She didn't need a total overhaul, just started weaving in brisk 15-minute walks, pushing her pace a bit each day to wake up her system. Weeks later, she was back to ruling her flower beds, breathing easy, no bench breaks required. Next time you're winded after something small, like chasing the cat or grabbing something upstairs, don't just shrug it off. Test it out. Walk a block at a solid clip. See how you hold up. If you're panting hard way too quick, it's a hint to tune up your engine with some light, steady movement. Nothing fancy, just enough to get that oxygen flowing again. Now, let's swing the spotlight to your skin. Your body's walking, talking billboard that's always spilling the tea on how you're holding up. You're brushing your teeth one morning. Catch a peek in the mirror, and whoa, what's this? Your face looks like it's been through a marathon you didn't sign up for. We're not talking a few fine lines or those crinkles around your eyes from laughing too hard. Those are just souvenirs of a good life. This is deeper. Skin that's dry as a cracker, sagging like it's lost its fight, or popping up with spots and patches that make you look older than your birthday candles say. Sure, skin shifts as we age, elasticity fades, moisture dips, but if it's aging way faster than your years, like it's lost that plump, dewy bounce way too soon. It's dropping a clue. Your skin's your first line of defense against the world, and when it's breaking down early, it's screaming about stuff like dehydration, too much sun, or maybe your diet's missing the nutrients it's begging for. Take Mark, 64, a guy who lived for the outdoors. Beach days, golf swings, fishing trips, you name it. Sunscreen? Nah, he'd skip it, figuring he'd tan like always, no harm done. But lately, his skin's gone from rugged charm to straight-up rough. Dry flakes on his cheeks that wouldn't quit, bags under his eyes sagging low, and a texture that made him look a decade older than he felt inside. He figured it was just time catching up, until he mentioned it to his doc, who laid it out plain. Years of UV damage plus not enough water and healthy fats were fast-tracking his skin's decline. Mark didn't need a miracle cream. He started chugging water like it was his new hobby, tossing avocado and olive oil into his meals, and finally slapping on SPF like he meant it. Months later, his skin wasn't some airbrushed fantasy, but it had that glow back, looking way closer to his real age. Check your reflection tomorrow morning. Does your skin look tired even when you're not? Does it feel papery or dull when you run your fingers over it? Might be time to give it some love, inside and out. Hydrate it, feed it, shield it from the sun's sneaky punches. Next up's a quiet little traitor that hits you right in the hands. Your grip's starting to ghost you. Ever reach for a jar, maybe that stubborn salsa you've been craving, and your hands just won't cooperate? You twist, you pull, and nothing. They're fumbling, weak, like they've forgotten how to muster the muscle. Or maybe you're carrying a bag of dog food from the car, and halfway to the door, your fingers give out, leaving you scrambling to catch it. Weak grip strength isn't just a kitchen annoyance. It's a subtle sign your body's aging faster than it should. Science is wild about this. Grip's like a crystal ball for your overall health. When it fades too early, it's tied to muscle loss, weaker bones, even bigger stuff like heart risks lurking down the line. Back in your prime, you'd pop lids like a pro, haul heavy bags without a second thought, shake hands with a grip that said, "I'm here, and I've got this." Now, if your hands tire quick or can't summon the strength, it's a wake-up call. Meet Pat, 70. She was the queen of doing it all herself, lugging groceries, tinkering in her shed, never asking for a hand. Then one day the bag slipped right out of her grasp, and she couldn't even turn her front doorknob without a wrestling match. She chuckled, calling it old lady hands, but her trainer wasn't laughing. Said it was sarcopenia, that muscle-wasting creep, sneaking in sooner than it should have. Pat didn't mess around. Started squeezing a stress ball while binging her favorite shows, lifting light weights while the coffee brewed, even gripping the steering wheel harder on her drives. Before long, her hands were back in the game, and she felt that strength ripple through her arms, her shoulders, her whole body. Try it yourself. Grab something firm like a tennis ball or a thick book. Squeeze it hard for 10 seconds. Shaky or weak? Don't sweat it, it's fixable. Start flexing those fingers daily. Maybe toss in some light dumbbells or resistance bands and watch the power creep back. It's not just about jars, it's about keeping your hands ready for whatever life throws at you. Here's one that sneaks in so quiet you might not notice till it's a real hassle. Your balance is wobbling more than it should. You're standing there, maybe tugging on a sock or reaching up to snag a mug from the top shelf, and suddenly you're swaying like you're on a boat in choppy water, grabbing the counter to keep from tipping over. Balance naturally dips a bit with age. Your inner ear, muscles, and nerves don't sync up as tight as they did when you were 30, and that's just how it goes. But if you're teetering way more than you ought to, like you can't stand on one foot for 5 seconds without flailing like a windmill, it's a subtle sign aging's speeding up. It's not just about tripping over the rug or looking silly. Shaky balance hints your nervous system's lagging, your muscles aren't firing right, or your coordination's taking an early hit. Think of Ruth, 66. She used to twirl at family gatherings, cutting rugs with her husband like they were auditioning for a dance show. Then she started catching herself, stumbling off a curb on her evening walk, wobbling while brushing her teeth in the morning. She thought it was cute, quirky, a little oops moment, until a near tumble down her porch steps jolted her awake. She mentioned it to her doc, who checked her out and said her balance was slipping faster than normal. Not a crisis, just a signal to act. Ruth got practical, stood on one leg while stirring her soup, walked heel to toe down her hallway like she was on a tightrope, even practiced shifting her weight side to side while waiting for the microwave. Soon, she was steady as a rock, strutting around with confidence again, no wall grabbing required. Test it right now. Lift one foot, hold it steady for a count of 10. Rocking fast or tipping over, it's a nudge to shore up that stability with some easy daily moves. Stand on one leg while you brush your teeth, or try a slow march in place. It's simple, but it's gold for keeping you upright and moving. Let's shift gears to something that can tank your whole vibe. Your energy's disappearing way too often. You wake up, or at least try to, and instead of bouncing out of bed ready to tackle the day, you're dragging like your batteries are stuck on low. We're not talking a rough night here and there. Everyone gets those, especially after a late Netflix binge or a loud neighbor. This is chronic fatigue that hangs around like an uninvited guest, sticking with you even after a decent stretch of sleep, leaving you wiped by noon or zoning out when you should be on your game. That's not just life's busy or I need more coffee. It's a quiet clue your body's aging faster than it should. Could be your cells aren't churning out energy like they used to, or stress, diet, even sneaky health stuff sapping your juice before you can use it. Picture Tony, 69. A guy who'd mow the lawn, flip burgers on the grill, and still have gas left for a late-night poke around with his buddies. Then he started fading. Napping by mid-afternoon, trailing off mid-sentence during chats, feeling like a shadow of his old self. He blamed a packed schedule, maybe too many early mornings, but his doc dug deeper. Blood work showed his thyroid was sluggish, speeding up his body's wear and tear way too soon. Tony didn't need a total reboot, just tweaked his game plan. More protein on his plate like eggs and nuts, less late-night junk like chips and soda, a little nudge from his doc with some meds. Before long, he was back to ruling the backyard, energy humming through him again. No naps needed. Feel wiped too much lately? Track it for a week. Jot down how you feel each morning and afternoon. If you're zonked despite solid rest, don't sleep on it. Poke around with some small changes. Swap a sugary snack for something hearty, get some fresh air, maybe chat with your doc if it sticks. Energy's your fuel. Don't let it leak out before you can burn it. Last one's a brain bender, and it's a doozy. Your memory's playing hide and seek more than it should. We're not talking the occasional, where'd I toss my keys slip. Those hit us all, especially when we're juggling a million things. This is forgetting stuff you just did, like what you ate for breakfast an hour ago, or blanking on a convo from yesterday, like it's wiped clean from your hard drive. If your brain's fuzzing out way more than your years suggest, it's a subtle sign aging's hitting fast up top. It's not dementia territory yet, not even close. Just your mind hinting at inflammation, sleep gaps, or blood flow dips sneaking in earlier than they should. Take Lisa, 67. She was the trivia queen, crushing it at game nights with her kids, never missing a beat on random facts or old movie quotes. Then she started slipping. Names vanished mid-chat. She'd lose the thread telling a story about her day, leaving everyone staring while she scrambled to catch up. She waved it off as senior moments, chuckling to her friends, but her doc wasn't so laid back, said it was early cognitive fade, nothing permanent, just a heads up to jump on it. Lisa leaned in hard, dove into crosswords every morning, ditched late-night scrolling on her phone that kept her wired, started walking daily to pump blood to her brain. Boom, her sharpness snapped back, and she's ruling quizzes again, no blanks in sight. Try it yourself. Recall your last meal, every detail. What you ate, how it tasted, who you were with. Struggling more than usual like it's a blur? Flex that mind. Pick up a puzzle book, play a memory game on your phone, take a brisk walk to get the juices flowing. It's not too late to sharpen those edges and keep your brain firing on all cylinders. These 6 little signs: getting winded too fast, skin that's aging out of sync, a grip that's fading, balance that's wobbly, energy that's MIA, memory that's playing tricks. They're not loud, crash-through-the-door warnings. They're soft, sneaky whispers, the kind you can miss if you're not tuned in. But here's the magic. Catch them early, and they're not a life sentence. They're a wake-up call you can answer. Maybe you're nodding at one of these, maybe a couple ring true. Either way, you've got the power to nudge back. Start small. A quick walk to wake your lungs, a big glass of water to perk up your skin, a squeeze to fire up your hands. A balance drill, while you wait for the kettle. Your body's been your partner in crime this whole ride. Listen to its hints, give it a boost, keep it rolling strong and steady. If you're still here soaking up these nuggets, toss a 2 in the comments. What's one sign you've noticed lately, or a fix you're thinking of trying? Spill it below. Your story might light a fire under someone else watching. Loving this vibe? Smash that like button, hit subscribe, ring that bell. Let's keep this convo rocking. Catch you in the comments.